what's going on? Today we're gonna be talking about League Pokemon that I want to pick up someday. Uh, when I do a draft league, it's kind of what I look for cool mons that really don't do much competitively, like in the standard competitive scene, but do a lot in League. Now, starting off this list, we have Mega Blastoise now. This thing is super strong. Its special move pool is really, really good. It's a really good rapid spinner as well. So that gives me hazard removal. It can be... I wouldn't run this thing defensively, but I could, as it does have a decent defensive move pool of rapid spin, haze, refresh, and toxic, and like scald. Offensively, this thing is great because it does get Mega Launcher, which is what's it called? Clawitzer's ability, where the Pulse and Aura moves have 1.5 power. So Aura Sphere is boosted, I think. Dark Pulse is boosted. Does get Focus Blast. Dragon Pulse is boosted as well. Ice Beam, Scald, Hydro Pump, I do believe, yep. And even Water Pulse, which is pretty close to the same base power as Scald when factoring in Mega Launcher and Stab. So it's pretty cool. As well as it gets a decent, if I wanted to run like Curse Mega Blastoise with like Liquidation. Next up we have Necrozma. Now this thing is super scary with its new buffs that I got with new tutor moves such as Earth Power, Heat Wave. What else did I get? Power? No, I think it already had that, didn't it? And I got some new stuff as well. But it did get Photon Geyser, which is probably the best move for it. I think it's now a spammable Psychic Stab move that I can use, which is really nice because previously you had to use like, I don't even know if I got Psychic or Psyshock. It was, I think it was like super bad because it didn't have a Psychic Stab, or you had to use like Prismatic Laser or some shit. But this thing is really scary. Calm Mind, Totemize, Roost, well, move like Roost, like Morning Sun. With like stored power, even ran Iron Defense and Rock Polish. It was like Iron Defense, Rock Polish, Morning Sun, stored power, which is pretty cool. Now its stats aren't bad. Decent speed, outspeeding shit like Heatran, and I think by 1 or 2 points, I think Heatran is like base 77. So good. Defenses 101.89 isn't bad. Good offenses 127, 107. It's not bad. Now Aromatisse is another thing I want to pick up because I love it. This thing is so stupid, but like this set right here is a killer. Now it gets Trick Room up for free because it ignores Taunt. So like you want to taunt this thing, you can't because of Aroma Veil. It gets free wishes, free aromatherapy, free status moves. Nasty Plot, it does get it, and it has a respectable special attack of 99. Energy Ball, it does get Flash Cannon as well, Psyshock and Psychic, Thunderbolt. Hell, you could run like Z Thunder if you wanted, and Moonblast for Stab, and then Fairy MZ for Twinkle Tackle. But the thing is, like, this thing's defensive capability is really nice. It's super bulky. Like 101 is great HP, 72 isn't that bad, and 89 is not that bad. I think Necrozma also has base 89 SPDF. So yeah. Next thing is Sigilyph. Now I got Swoobat in a prior league. Now I want Sigilyph one of these days because its move pool is pretty good. It did get Defog, so it can come in, not take damage from rocks because Magic Guard, and Defog away, as well as it's immune to spikes and toxic spikes and sticky web. with just its flying type. And it gets stored power as well, so it's basically a better Swoobat, except Swoobat has better speed and simple. But thing is, this thing has great coverage. Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, Psychic Stab, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Stored Power if you want to be that guy with Stored Power, Cosmic Power, Roost, and Psycho Shift, because they can run Psycho Shift. With Magic Guard, it won't take damage from Burn. As well as it does have Wonder Skin, which is pretty funny, because, like, you're going to be avoiding status 50% of the time, which is pretty nice because you want to avoid T-Waves. Shit like Chansey. As well as, it does have Tinted Lens as well, which is a cool ability. I can only name a few things that have it, notable things. That's Venomoth and Yanmega. I will have to do a little bit of a check real quick on Tinted Lens. Tinted Lens. Butterfree, Venomoth, Noctowl, Illumise, Mothim, Yanmega, and Sigilyph. Now, only a few of those things are notable. Most of them are bug types, some flying types. Noctowl. Actually, let me look at this thing. I know this thing has decent. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Extra Sensory, Heat Wave, Hurricane, Hyper Voice, Moonblast. Wow. Okay. Shadow Ball. I don't know why you would ever use this thing. This thing is like a mediocre Generation 2 Mon. I find most of the Gen 2 Mons mediocre, except for a few. But anyway, back to that's not it. Alright, next is Komala. Now, I know everyone's like, Aaron, why do you want Komala? What does this do? Now, Komala is a pretty interesting Mon. Its ability Comatose basically makes it so it's asleep. It can't be a status and it's considered to be asleep. So I think rest fails if you use it. But Sleep Talk doesn't, which is really cool because you can just spam Sleep Talk and get super strong last resort, which base 115 attack is nothing to mess with. Like, this thing is hella strong and it will kill you. Now, it also gets things like Earthquake, Frustration for different stab, Knockoff, Ironhead, Play Rough, Rapid Spin as well. It does get Spin, which is pretty cool. Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, Sucker Punch, Super Power, SD, U-Turn. Now, these next two surprise me a lot because I do know that it got it, but it's surprising. Wish and Woodhammer. Woodhammer is really weird. For this, I don't know why. And it even gets acrobatics too. So this thing is actually not bad. I mean, 65 HP, 95 speed def, but that 115 attack. Oof. It's super strong. Ditto, just because you can copy setup and start spamming. But this thing's easily countered, so it's not that good in my mind. But you can just run a substitute Mon and you'd be fine. Next is Palossand. Now, Palossand is a Pokemon that shares one of my favorite Pokemon's types, and that's Golurk, and it's a ground ghost type. Or a ghost ground. Same thing. It did get Stealth Rock this gen, so in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, because there is a Stealth Rock tutor now, I do believe. And it does get it. So, it's another reason to use this. It does get a cool healing move called Shore Up, which paired with Sand heals you 2/3 of the max. Earth Power and Shadow Ball for stabs. Now this thing has really weird stats. You'd expect a ground ghost type to have really good physical stats. No, this thing has special attack. And really good defense, 110, 85, 75 isn't bad. 35, obviously, because all Gen 7 Mons are slow, except for, like Tapu Koko and some other stuff. But this thing's pretty cool. Its ability's kind of cool. Is water compaction, so every time you're damaged by a water move, you raise your defense 2 stages. I could use a Sandvale meme with, like, Shore Up and, like... Does this get Sandstorm? It does get Sandstorm. So you can use Sandstorm, Shore Up, Earth Power, and bam. Easy game. Yeah, I just want Palossand because it's a cool Pokemon, and it can do some work. This next thing is one that's been on my mind for a while, and that's Licky Licky. I have a thing for normal types because they have hella good coverage, but they're easy to take down, so, but not this one. This thing can't be taunted, so you get free wishes versus fast shit taunt users, like prankster taunt users, or like any taunt users in general. One thing that I can think of that uses taunt is Frostlass, so you get Wish Protect, Toxic, and Knockoff, as well as you get like Stab Explosion, Fire coverage, Ice coverage, Grass coverage, Knockoff, Surf, SD, Rock Slide. It's a bunch of good stuff, and the stats aren't even that bad. Defensively, they're alright, 110, 95, 95. Offensively, 85, 80, 50. It's not strong offensively. I'd rather use it defensively, but yeah. Next thing that is up on this list is Mesprit, because Mesprit is super versatility. Yeah, this thing had like 7 sets on its PU analysis, so yeah, it's super versatile. Specs, Ice Beams, just coverage. You can run Stealth Rock, you can run Choice Scarf, you can run Hell fucking Banded. Weather Setter as well, because it gets Rain Dance and Sunny Day, but I don't think it gets Sandstorm or Hail. It doesn't get Hail, and I don't think it does get Sandstorm. So it gets 3 out of 4 weather sets. So you can run this on a Sand team, a Sun team, or Rain team. And this thing is just super versatile. Its stats are well-rounded, 80 and 105. I think it's the most well-rounded Lake trio. You got Uxie and Azelf. Azelf is more offensive, and Uxie's more defensive. This thing's well-rounded, and I like it all a lot. Next thing is up is my boy Toucannon. Now, I had this thing in-game for, Pokemon Sun. And then I have Ultra Moon as well, so. This thing got a bit better with the move tutors. Now, its stats are pretty meh. 120 attack is alright, which Banded Skill Link, it's cool. It does get Sheer Force, but it doesn't have many moves to take advantage of that. It does get Gunk Shot for that. Heat Wave on special sets. It doesn't have much to take care of the Sheer Force, because there's not much it can use. Now, this thing does get Bullet Seed and Rock Blast, 2 moves that will always hit 5 times, versus shit like Bulky Waters and Bulky Flyings that will come in. There's a Ghost Flying type. You can just hit it with Rock Blast and it die. Brave Bird and Frustration, as well as does get some cool moves like Beak Blast. It's a negative priority move, so it's kind of like Focus Punch. But if they make contact with you, it burns you, and I learned this because I had it in random battles, and I used Beak Blast, and this man had Azumarill, it was +6, and had Aqua Jet. And it got burned, and I was like, what the fuck, why is this burned? And I was like, oh, dude, this move is sweet. It does get Boom Burst, Heat Wave, Hyper Voice, Overheat as well, so Z Fire in this John. Yeah, two cannon is a really weird mon. A lot of the Gen 7 mons are slow. I could use a majority of these on Trick Room. But there's a... Alright, so basically, I had to pause right there. There are some honorable mentions on what I want to get in League. Mammal Swine is one of those. And so, like... Alright, sorry about that. Another few things that I want to pick up are Reuniclus, Kyurem, so that can be this Kyurem right here, or Kyurem Black. I do want to try Comfy in League one of these days. Maybe something like Serena. I mean, I already had it in League once, but that was before it got power wet, so there's just a bit of things that I want to try. But a lot of these lower tier mons are really surprising. Like Buffalant. I had this thing in-game in Oris, and this thing did work. Reckless, so it gets recoil or crash damage at 1.2 times the power. Now this thing already has it's good bulk, 95 across the board. Decent attack, 110. Which hits 350, I believe, with adamant. It does get head charge, which has 1/4 recoil. It is stab and it is boosted by reckless. Gets mega horn, outrage, poison jab, pursuit, stone edge, superpower, wild charge, which is also boosted by reckless. It also has sap sipper and soundproof. So 3 really good abilities. Hell, it even gets fucking cotton guard. I don't think there's much that it gets that has recoil. It does get smart strike for some reason. Like everything gets smart strike though. So Buffalant is really cool because I just like the Pokemon in general and I know how to use it. I kind of want to get Beartick one of these days. Drampa is on my priority list because it's a good mon. I like it. Furfrou could be alright. Lowland Golem maybe. I'm looking at low tier mons because that's where I can get some pretty nice snags. I could use Lurantis because it did get superpower and it does have decent physical moves, as well as it has Leaf Storm, as well as Defog. So I could use that. I already got Mudsdale one of these days in my league that I was in a while back over the summer. I had Mudsdale and I thought it got Stealth Rock and it didn't, but now it does. There's a few things that I could pick up, like Pissimian in some league that I am going to start as eventually. We are going to release, 4 abilities? We're going to release Pissimian, so it has Defiant in that league, as well as the hidden abilities for the Alolan starters, so that's Long Reach for Decidueye, Intimidate for Incineroar, and then, Liquid Voice or some shit for fucking Primarina. So I kind of want to pick up Quillfish one of these days. Maybe Alolan Eradicate, Regice. Some Rotom form. Silvally I want to pick up. Maybe Shiinotic. Sudowoodo. Alright, so I actually did a little bit of a what would you call analysis, I guess? Not really analysis, but I analyzed this thing in OU because it gets pretty cool move. It gets Rockhead, and it also gets Head Smash, and it also gets Woodhammer. It also gets Taunt, which is pretty cool. Ice Punch, and Earthquake. Now, this thing I EV'd to outspeed No, this isn't it. This is wrong. This should be like that. There we go. I EV'd this to outspeed, yeah, there we go. So I EV'd this to outspeed Toxapex by 2 points because I had started running Toxapex with 4 speed EVs to outspeed other Toxapex, so I always move first and I can always get off a, Toxic Spikes or a, I do believe Toxic Pex also gets Soak, maybe? If it does get Soak, I have an idea. Toxic Pex. Because this thing hits 106, and it's base 35, and this thing's base 30, so you have to run... I run 4 speed EVs on a few things that are defensive, like Clefable and Pex. Does this thing get Soak? It doesn't get Soak. But it does get, like, it gets Merciless, which is pretty fun, I guess. I don't know. But it's just Pex, so. Sudowoodo is also something I want to pick up in the league, just because. Sudowoodo! And, yeah. So, that's pretty much some league prospect things that I want to pick up eventually. Maybe. Someday.